Welcome to ISLAC IGCSE Maths. In this lesson we're solving quadratic equations, one of the most heavily tested topics on the exam. A quadratic always draws this U-shaped curve called a parabola, and solving it means finding where that curve crosses the x-axis. Those crossing points are our answers. By the end you'll be able to solve any quadratic by factorizing or by using the formula. Here's our roadmap. First we'll define what a quadratic actually is and write it in standard form. Then we'll learn to read solutions off a graph. We cover two solving methods, factorizing, which is quick when it works, and the quadratic formula, which always works. Finally we look at the discriminant, which tells us how many solutions to expect before we even solve. A quadratic is any expression where the highest power of x is 2. That x squared term is essential. If there's no x squared, it's not quadratic. If there's an x cubed, it's higher order. So x squared plus 5x plus 6 is quadratic. 2x squared minus 3x is quadratic. X squared minus 9 is quadratic. But 3x plus 1 is linear, and x cubed is cubic. Neither belongs here. Before solving, always rearrange to standard form. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Everything on one side, 0 on the other. The letters a, b and c are the coefficients. A multiplies x squared, b multiplies x, and c is the constant on its own. For 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 equals 0, a is 2, b is 3, and c is minus 2. Notice c is negative. The sign always travels with the number. Here's the key idea that ties algebra to the graph. The solutions of the equation, the roots, and the points where the parabola crosses the x-axis are all the same thing. 3 names for one idea. When you solve a quadratic you are finding these x-intercepts. Most quadratics have 2 of them. Keep this picture in your head throughout the lesson. Our first method is factorizing, and it rests on the zero product property. If two things multiply to give 0, then at least one of them must be 0, nothing else can produce 0. So if a times b equals 0, then either a equals 0 or b equals 0. Once a quadratic is written as two brackets multiplied together equaling 0, we set each bracket to 0 and solve. When e equals 1, factorizing follows one simple rule. You need two numbers that do two jobs at once. They must multiply to give c, and add to give b. Find that pair and the brackets write themselves, x plus the first number, times x plus the second number. Multiply to c, add to b, say it every time you factorize. Let's solve x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. Here b is 5 and c is 6. We need two numbers that multiply to 6 and add to 5, that's 2 and 3. So it factorizes to x plus 2, times x plus 3, equals 0. Set each bracket to 0. X plus 2 is 0 gives x equals minus 2. X plus 3 is 0 gives x equals minus 3. Two solutions, done. Signs are where marks are lost. Solve x squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. Here b is minus 1 and c is minus 6. We need two numbers multiplying to minus 6 and adding to minus 1, that's minus 3 and positive 2. So the brackets are x minus 3, times x plus 2. Setting each to 0 gives x equals 3 or x equals minus 2. Notice the answer sign is opposite to the number inside the bracket. Not every quadratic factorizes with whole numbers. Take x squared plus 4x plus 1 equals 0. We need two numbers multiplying to 1 and adding to 4, 1 and 1 multiply to 1 but add to 2, minus 1 and minus 1 add to minus 2. Nothing works with integers. Don't waste exam time hunting. When no neat pair exists, switch straight to the quadratic formula, which we meet next. This is the formula that solves every quadratic, memorize it. X equals minus b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all over 2a. The plus or minus is what gives us the two roots, one from the plus, one from the minus. Get A, B and C from standard form, substitute, and compute. It never fails, even when factorizing does. Let's use the formula on 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 equals 0. So A is 2, B is 3, C is minus 2. First the part under the root. 3 squared is 9, minus 4 times 2 times minus 2 is plus 16, giving 25. The square root of 25 is 5. So x equals minus 3 plus or minus 5 over 4. Plus gives 2 over 4, which is a half. Minus gives minus 8 over 4, which is minus 2. So x is a half or minus 2. 3 habits keep you from losing marks in the formula. 1. Always put negative values in brackets when you substitute. Minus 2 becomes bracket minus 2, so signs don't get lost. 2. Work out b squared minus 4ac first, as a single number, before doing anything else. 3. The whole top line is divided by 2a, not just part of it. Keep that division bar under everything. Do these 3 things every time. The discriminant is b squared minus 4ac, the part under the root. Its sign tells you how many real roots there are before you finish solving. If it's positive, the root is real and the plus or minus gives 2 different roots. The parabola crosses the axis twice. If it's exactly 0, the root term vanishes and you get 1 repeated root. The parabola just touches the axis. If it's negative, you can't square root a negative in real numbers, so there are no real roots. The parabola never reaches the axis. The sign of A decides which way the parabola opens. If A is positive, the curve is a U-shape with a lowest point, a minimum. If A is negative, it's flipped into an N shape with a highest point, a maximum. Either way, the roots are wherever the curve meets the x-axis. Sketching the right orientation helps you check your answers make sense. How do you choose a method under exam pressure? First, always rearrange to standard form. Then ask, does it factorize easily? If a neat pair of numbers jumps out, factorize, it's fastest. If not, reach for the quadratic formula, which always works. And if the exam question actually says use the formula, or give answers to a number of decimal places, use the formula regardless, because decimals mean it won't factorize nicely. Five quick exam habits. Always set the equation to 0 first. The methods only work from standard form. Show every line of working, because most marks are for method, not just the final answer. Most quadratics have 2 answers, so don't stop after 1. If the question asks for decimals, use the formula and round only at the very end. And always sanity check. Substitute your roots back in to confirm they give 0. Let's recap the whole lesson in 3 points. 1. Get the equation into standard form. ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. 2. Solve it, factorize if it's quick, otherwise use the quadratic formula. 3. The discriminant, b squared minus 4ac, tells you how many real roots to expect. Master those 3 and you can handle any quadratic on the paper. Now put it into practice. We've built a free quiz that walks you through more quadratics of every type, factorizing, the formula, and the discriminant. The link is in the description below. Try it before the next video and see how many you can solve on your own. Thanks for watching. If this helped your revision, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss the next IGCSE Maths lesson. Drop a comment with a topic you'd like next, and I'll see you in the following video.